It's Thursday, it's 4 o'clock, and that means you're watching Chelsea and Tony live. And today's theme is autumn. We're celebrating all things fall. So if you haven't already submitted your picture, go to stp.io/submit. We also have some exciting new news from Olympus. Tony?
Yep, and we're going to talk about the Google Pixel 4 as well as the EM5 Mark III now. And we'll compare it to our favorite camera, the X-T3, since they're pretty close in price.
Yes, and I think we're doing another live show for Halloween, and the theme is going to be spooky, but we're not sure yet. We have some things that we're trying to work out before we promise that to you. So hoping for spooky over here. And then another piece of news that we have. Oh, first I have to tell you we're sponsored by Squarespace, of course. Whether you want a website, an online store, maybe you just want a domain where people can go look at your face, you can make that happen with Squarespace so easily. And you can do it for free for 14 days with their trial. No credit card needed. Just go to squarespace.com/Chelsea and use the coupon code Chelsea. And I have to say, I watched SNL this weekend and they savagely roasted every podcaster that plugged Squarespace. And I felt seen and it was hilarious.
I like the idea of getting a domain just for your face. I'm going to get Tony's face.
Yeah.
And it will be that.
No, not enough people do it. Not enough people do it.
Thanks, Squarespace.
Our other news is we just completed our preset pack. It's called Autumn, on theme for the show. I was hoping I'd have it done for this week. And it's all these warm, earthy tones. I'm really proud of these ones. I think they're very beautiful. And I'm also including a video on, of course, how to download them, how to get them into Lightroom, and then how to tweak them, and also how to make your own, because I think it's really important that you have this cohesive look to your photography, and I wanted to get you started on that here. So I hope that helps you. Oh, and for our live show viewers only, we're going to give you 20% off only for today with Fall 20.
So go to stp.io/preset3, and then you could use the coupon code Fall20 for 20% off.
Tony, you modeled for me.
For a new product. Yeah, that is me.
Do you feel cool?
I'm the model. I feel terribly cool. That picture turned out awesome. I feel cool. My little Sony there. Here are some examples of it. We can check them out during the show too, but look at kind of the difference it makes. And what I like about presets are you don't have to just do exactly that and then share it, but I use it for creative inspiration. Sometimes I'll just hover my cursor over 10 or 20 different presets and I'll think, okay, I like the shadows like this. And I kind of take a preset piecemeal. Sometimes I'll also just find a preset and think it looks great and just share it immediately as is. These are from a quick little trip we did to Maine. Some of you will recognize that lighthouse. Okay, while people send their pictures in, why don't we go over today's news?
Sure.
First up, Olympus announced the EM5 Mark III. This is their latest micro four thirds camera. This one is pricing it body only at $1,200, which a lot of people are criticizing. They feel like it should be priced more like $800 or so. I don't know that that's necessarily fair. It does have a small sensor, but the sensor no longer makes up a huge part of the price of the camera. It does have a lot of other features. And we'll compare it to the X-T3 in just a second and kind of talk about how that fits in. The big drawback here is the image quality isn't going to blow anybody away. It's still a small sensor. It's an old sensor at this point, originally launching on the EM1 Mark II from, I think, 3 years ago. It's only 20 megapixels, which in this day and age of 60 megapixel cameras and, smartphones that well exceed that, it seems a little low. But it has this amazing sensor stabilization system where some people say they can handhold it at 20 to 30 seconds. And I'm not shocked because with other Olympus cameras, it was easy to do 5 seconds and it's better.
I'm shocked. I can hardly do a half a second. So color me shocked. I have to say Olympus is the most fun camera to shoot with.
Yeah, I think overall it's the most usable. It's got that side flip screen, which I absolutely love. And their menu system is, I think, the best in the business. I think I like using the Fuji a little bit better overall, but it definitely has some usability drawbacks.
I'm a little pixel punk. So when I get those, I just invented that, by the way, TM, pixel punk, me. And when I get them onto my computer, I'm like, what happened to all my megapinkles?
Yeah.
Well,
if you compare it to the Fuji X-T3, the X-T3 is $100 more, but it has 30% more megapixels. The X-T3 shoots at 4K at 60 frames per second, twice what the EM5 Mark III does. But we have the EM5's sensor stabilization, and a high-res mode that stacks multiple images. If you have like a still life or product photography, that produces incredibly sharp images, but it doesn't work well for landscapes or portraits or anything else. The Olympus also has that flip forward screen that Fuji refuses to put in. But otherwise, the Fuji pretty much wins throughout. It has a much higher resolution EVF, so everything looks more lifelike and real in the viewfinder. It has these like amazing analog controls, a far better focusing system, and generally more background blur is available with the Fuji lenses that you can purchase for its APS-C sensor, as opposed to the lenses you can purchase for the Olympus sensor. But I want to make it clear. It's not obvious that the Fuji is so much better of a value. Yes, it's got a bigger sensor and your pictures are probably going to look a little better in the technical aspect, but the Olympus is fun to use, and that sensor stabilization should not be underestimated, because if you're using one of the great Fuji primes, camera shake is a real common problem. I also want to talk about the new Google Pixel 4 that's launched, because they are leading with marketing with the camera. You know, it used to be, the screen is higher resolution or the battery life is better. And they mentioned those things, but now it's all about the camera. What they added in was this is an $800 or $900 smartphone, depending on the screen size you get. They have a new telephoto lens. So before they insisted they only needed one camera lens to do everything, then they went and added a telephoto lens. So they're kind of like one lens behind the iPhone. When iPhone went to 2, they had 1. Now the iPhone has 3, they have 2. They are offering better Bokeh now, which is like the fake background blur that you get in the portrait mode. And indeed, looking at their sample images, the Bokeh looks fantastic. And I'll say, I have the new iPhone also, and we haven't done an official review, but we will. And the Bokeh that you get out of that is great. Like the portrait mode I've been doing, I'm just like, you can zoom in on the hairs and stuff, and it's passable. It's not perfect, but it's very good. They also have like far better night mode.
Wow.
And the amazing thing is you can literally photograph the Milky Way with your smartphone. You can just prop it up against a rock or a tree, and it can gather light for like 2 minutes. And I think this is a 2-minute exposure, but you'll notice there are no star trails in it. And the amazing thing is it tracks the movement of the stars and stacks the individual photos, but then notices that the ground isn't moving. So it's actually intelligently separating the moving and static subjects from the astrophotography scene to create deep star images of the Milky Way, that in a way that you could not do with a real camera, because no real camera has this sophisticated analysis and stacking software. Isn't that amazing from a smartphone?
It's so amazing, but I'm having this weird moment where I'm like, oh, like the craft of photography will be going away.
Oh, well, you still have to get in a location with beautiful stars and create nice compositions. It's the weird little like technical aspects of it those barriers are being removed, but the creative aspects everything's going to be focused on those.
Yeah, I don't know. It's still kind of sad. I mean, I never thought I'd be taking that approach, but there's something kind of sad about it, because then you don't even appreciate it. I've had friends just hold up their phone at the sky and be like, wait, why can't I see the stars? And I'm like, oh, I'm finally useful in this situation. But like sometimes technology becomes so good, you stop appreciating why it's so good. I don't know. Sorry, having a lame moment over here.
It's processing that through like the Google Photo Center, I assume. Like you would not be able to do that without a strong signal in the middle of the desert.
No, it does it all offline.
Oh, it's on board. Nice.
Yeah, it's just doing like intelligent stacking and noticing that the parts of the picture have moved, which would be the stars moving through the sky.
We should be getting our Pixel soon, so we'll get to try it out.
And this is a sample of one of their night shots. So the night shots continue to get more and more sophisticated. If you take a picture in dark environments, it'll automatically analyze the scene, separate out parts of the scene that are moving, and then stack them together to create essentially like an ISO 1 image, so that the small sensor produces very clean, like DSLR-like images.
Wow.
To show you their focus, they actually hired Annie Leibovitz to do a whole portrait series with the Google Pixel 3. Like, they're getting serious. They want this to be taken seriously.
This is not a joke.
No.
We repeat.
And I stumbled across the DP Reviews studio scene and discovered that they had put the Google Pixel 3 in there. So this is a previous generation smartphone. But if you compare it to like a Micro Four Thirds camera or even an APS-C camera, those pictures in low light still look really good. Like getting to the point where through computational photography, they're able to hang with real cameras in technical situations where they used to be weak.
Yeah, it's getting there.
All right, that's it for the news. So let's take a look at people's autumn pictures.
Yes, we're starting with Chris Reddy, who
Oh.
not only contributed a picture, but will be here taking your questions and your comments. Hi, Chris.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good.
If you have any questions or comments for Chris, just put them in the chat and he'll be picking them out.
Will.
And Chris, your grandkids, these must be your grandkids, right?
You got it.
They're
you
so
bet.
cute.
Well, I didn't notice that this was your picture, Chris. I just saw this and thought, these kids are really cute. This would be a great picture to start on.
Can I say, I see you're going into my presets, not all of them loaded.
Oh, okay.
Like 2/3 of them.
Just wanted to warn you in case that's an issue. There are 20 of the color ones and 10 of the mono and split tone.
I think I like mellow mood for that.
Oh, you
one.
like it mellow. Okay.
It just added a little bit of pop. It wasn't much of a difference. Are you thinking about cropping this a little?
I wasn't, but I want to see. I'm going to let you fly. I'm going to see what you want to do here.
I don't want to lose too many of the leaves because I like it, but
How does it feel, Chris, watching Tony crop your grandkids away?
I feel honored. How's that?
maybe a little more vibrance.
Nice.
Great shot, Chris. I'm going back. I'm giving you a pick. I think this is just such a great mood. How did you get them in there and making eye contact and smiling? Like, do you have a
This
trick
was one of
for
those shots where they're playing in the leaves, and I stood over them and just kept shooting until I got them both looking at me.
Oh, okay. So you just used repetition, just lots and lots of
Yeah.
pictures, huh?
Yeah.
How many
well,
pictures
and
do you think you took?
That much I've learned with kids.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
You got to use quantity to your advantage.
Yep. And 1/500th looks like the perfect setting.
Yeah. Children, you should use wildlife shutter speeds. Am I right or am I right?
Yeah.
So here's kind of a classic fall landscape scene. This looks very New England, but I don't know. I immediately felt like it was a little oversaturated, don't you think?
Mm-hmm. The spot looks beautiful, though.
I think it can be really tough because every time you adjust that vibrance or saturation slider up, it looks a little bit better, but you have to like take a break and come back to it. And especially with vibrance, clarity, texture, dehaze, I tend to make it so I like everything and then back those settings off right before I share it.
Yeah. Ooh, kind of like tobacco.
The preset.
The preset. That's a controversial preset name. Okay. I like it, Ken. I like the colors. Ooh. I like that I like the scene. I like the separation from the background. I wish that you had gotten the little one's face just a little bit more in the picture.
Yeah, and I'm wondering if we can't maybe pull those yellows towards orange a little bit.
So because my presets are autumn themed, I did that. I pulled all the greens and the yellows towards yellow and orange in a lot of them. So if people are taking fall portraits and those are in the background, it's going to enhance the fall vibe. So Tony, I'm just saying we're on the same page.
Yeah. Enhance the fall vibe or just totally fake it.
Enhance. Roderick who? Roderick, nice to see you again. I love the glassiness of the water. This would have been good for our reflections episode too. And the colors are very beautiful too.
If you check Stunning Digital Photography, you'll find an example picture in there that I took about 5 minutes apart
Yeah.
as the sun was setting. The fall colors will pop so much more the closer the sun gets to the horizon. So this is a very pretty spot with nice still water. What you might do is maybe even get it before the sunrise and get there and wait as the sun rises, because there's going to be some moment where there's just so much richer color. And you can't seem to fake it with vibrance or saturation.
No,
like
it's different. Yeah.
You're getting like such the warm light from the sun as it passes through the atmosphere. And so do that, and also keep revisiting, because when you have a clear sky like this, I'm always a little disappointed for landscapes because I actually like some clouds in the sky just to add some interest to it. A fall portrait. Man, this is an intricate portrait.
Yeah, you have this beautiful red dress with these frills that are almost leaf-like, and then I love the branches in the background that are reaching over the path. There's a lot going on. I want to zoom in here. Let's see, 1/100th of a second. I think you have a little bit of, is that motion blur or camera shake? What's going on here?
Yeah, you're right. There's a little bit of unsharpness to it.
I think there's a little bit of motion blur, and she's very fair. So I'm going to just maybe even just bring down the exposure just a tiny, tiny bit.
Maybe we could even just hit the sharpening some.
You want to hit the sharpening?
Yeah. Not something I normally do a lot of with portraits, but there's something unsharp about it. And yeah, maybe it's motion, maybe it's misfocus, or you're shooting that lens wide open.
Oh gosh, I went crazy. Sorry. All right.
We switched between Macs and PCs,
Yes.
and I think that's what confuses us. Our muscle memory is off.
Yeah, I just did Mac things to this poor PC.
Great shot, Ilko. That's just a beautiful portrait.
It is. I love that everybody really embraced this week's theme.
Yeah.
Look at this. I just took over. Sorry. I'm really excited, guys. I'm really sorry to be going through all my own presets, but I've been working on them for a couple months and they're here.
Yeah. If you like them, head to sdp.io/preset3.
Uh-oh, things got slow. Ooh, I like this one. I will say I'd go a little more maroon because you know what I noticed happens, and I have a whole video on this. I did a portrait shoot with Tony, and there were these beautiful, colorful leaves, and the light reflected off of them onto his face, and then he had a yellow face. And so I use some flash and I use some Photoshop to help that, but it can make the skin look funky. So sometimes applying an overall tone, it just kind of evens things out and resets what the skin looks like, if that makes sense.
Yeah, if you're in the shade, you're only lit by reflected light.
Yeah.
And it's reflected off of all of its surroundings. So if you're surrounded by green grass, you're getting hit with green light. If it's yellow leaves, you're getting hit with yellow light. Fall is my favorite time to do wildlife photography. You definitely have to get out during the fall because the backgrounds are just so much better and it makes such an incredible difference. This shot's gorgeous. The bird's perfect. I kind of wish it turned its head, but overall, it's a great shot. And, I can see you still have a lot of green in those leaves, so keep going back because the lighting's only going to get better.
Yeah, I love the contrast, the yellow and the blue of the bird. The color contrast is really beautiful. And I think that you got the bird in profile. It looks nice. I think the balance of the picture looks a little bit off. I'm not sure why. Let's bring it to 8x10 and see. Oh, you are in 8x10. So maybe we could have just cropped in a little more. I love that. I'm giving that a pick.
Great detail on it.
Ooh, a little leaf world by Sam Jakov. Okay.
Yeah, this is an interesting shot.
Yeah, I like that you did something different. He took this photo with an iPhone.
Nice shot, Sam.
Sorry, I think it needs a little style, so I would just do some editing, even if it's not my presets. Warm things up a little bit, set the mood of the photo. Like you can just put the temperature to warm, and then the overall feeling is more warm as well.
And you can get the presets on your phone if you do editing in Lightroom Mobile. Just import the presets on your computer in Lightroom, regular Lightroom, and then they'll automatically get transferred over to your phone.
Ooh, I love the feeling of this photo. You have something that's not traditionally fall. You have evergreens, but you process them so that they have these orange tones. The greens you slid towards like the yellows, and you have this very warm autumn feel, even though it's not a traditional autumn theme. It's very beautiful.
And Ranjit nailed the starburst because he's kind of hidden it behind the leaves of the trees. So they're themselves making small apertures that it will peek through. And that's why it kind of created these kind of crazy lines. But that gave us an important focal point. Wait, oh, there's actually a person down there too.
Yeah, I saw that little man.
Okay,
Okay.
that's nice. I'm going to give this picture a pick.
Yeah, I like it. Ooh, this is that light you were talking about hitting the leaves.
Yeah, you can see what a huge difference it makes between the trees that are in shadow and those that are actually lit up. And that creates this like intense dynamic range. And in fact, everything back here is so blue. Would you leave that, Chelsea, or would you
I
try to fix
would,
it?
because I think the color contrast is really interesting. The blue of the background with this bright yellow in the foreground. Ooh,
Okay, I just thought I would experiment. Don't be mad.
I'm mad.
Um,
I like the blue.
okay. Sorry.
Everyone's mad.
Okay.
Okay.
Classic waterfall shot.
Yeah, I like that you did what's, all right, about a half a second. You get a little feathering. Nice. You can go in and select the greens and move them towards yellow, and then move the yellows towards orange, and now you got a fall picture.
And let me make a suggestion. Go for longer shutter speeds too. You're at f14, so I think you didn't have an ND filter with you. That's okay. I often don't have an ND filter. If you just take a lot of pictures, like 30, 40, 50 pictures isn't too much. There's an easy process called image averaging that you can do on your computer that will essentially simulate a longer exposure. You can hand hold it. You don't need a tripod. And that will give you that much smoother water and just a more dramatic effect. We have a video on it if you want to check it out.
Wow, I love the glowing effect of all of the yellow leaves, Aaron. I'm struggling to find a focal point. I feel like if you had just moved to the left a little bit and that path was leading to the front door, then the scene would have a little story. I'd feel like I was going to walk into this little cabin. But right now that's blocked off and it's a little bit cluttered. But the overall mood and everything is really beautiful.
Here's what you do. You put your camera on a tripod and then you jump in that hammock.
Yeah.
And you take a few pictures and then maybe move to the chair. So make yourself a focal point if you don't have somebody else to model for you, because that just needs that one extra thing. Like, make us imagine that we're there. If we see a person there, we'll feel like we're there.
Yeah, so
Great
true. Okay, so fall mood in Munich. And I like that you threw some leaves. That's really cool. I might open up the depth of field a bit. You're at f6 III, so I'd go higher than that so you could get some leaves and their faces in focus, which I think is the most important part, unless this photo is just about leaves. And you could also do that by throwing them more into their focal plane so that the leaves aren't strictly in front of them, but like coming from the side. You might need a friend to help. Friends can be helpful.
Yeah, the way this picture reads to me is it's like a stock photo about fall leaves where they didn't want the attention to be on the people.
Yeah.
And it works having the focal plane on the leaves for that purpose. But if you were taking a portrait of your friends, they would I wish I were in focus.
It always makes me uncomfortable in jewelry ads when like the watch is in focus and the person isn't.
Yeah.
And I know that's the way it's supposed to be, but I'm always just kind of like, that poor person. They're just a blurry person. Brian Smith got this great blue heron, looking great.
Yeah, and here we can see the fall colors coming in the reflections in the water. And that's one of the best things about wildlife photography. If you're pointing at water, you're going to pick up the colors from the leaves, and it makes such a big difference over just having that be like bland and dark.
Yeah, I love doing wildlife photography in the fall. We should go out and do that.
I can give you one technical suggestion, Brian. You're at 400 millimeters and 1/800th of a second. Your lens isn't stabilized, so maybe you're pushing it there, but I think you could have gotten that shutter down to 1/400th or maybe even 1/200th because the bird is staying pretty still. And that would have let you shoot at a much lower ISO, producing sharper, cleaner images. Use the rule of doubles, as we describe in Stunning Digital Photography. And we have a free video too, so check that out, and that'll let you drive down the ISO and improve your detail in situations where the bird's like hanging out. That's what I always do.
Oh my gosh.
Fiona is adorable.
So cute. I would just have like a mood to this, You have such a nice photo, you have good eye contact and everything, but it just looks very like straight out the camera, Lance. You got to work on that style.
So you're
You know what I
saying
mean?
Lance should try a preset?
I mean, not just that, but go in and try editing a little bit, warming it up. You have these brown leaves in the background, but they're gray, they're a very gray tone. And you could just add a little warmth in the temperature here. You don't want to go too far because your dog is white. Fiona, so cute.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to set something up. Like find the best 100 leaves in your yard and sort of arrange them in a spot and then have Fiona sit there because these leaves are a little dried.
Well, I think this is what he had. And Fiona's fine with it. Look at her.
Well, what I'm saying is to take it to the next level.
Yeah, you could
involves
have a few
arranging
yellow if you
things a
have
little
them.
bit. Yeah.
Fall sumac.
Beautiful colors.
Those are beautiful colors. Could add a little contrast.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I didn't mind it before, though. Nice shot.
I love the haze here, and I like that everything has this really warm feeling. Really pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what bothers me is it feels unbalanced to me. Everything is off to the right. And you have these two focal points, which are the line of trees and the sun. And you can control the arrangement of those by just shifting your position, maybe to the left a little bit, or maybe you go to the other side of the road. But it would be striving a balance. It would be moving around trying to find the perfect compositional balance between those two elements. Because if the sun were over here or something, it might be a little bit better. That's okay.
Whoa, this is really nice, Ireland. I love that you have these warm orange tones, but there's also a lot of blue in the photo. There's nice symmetry going on, good reflections. But I think the thing that I love the most is your color theory, the orange, the blues, the yellow, really beautiful.
Yeah, I am just pulling down the highlights a little bit because I think I want to capture just a little more detail in the sun and this beautiful starburst here. Great shot.
I might instead do that with a radial filter because just to show you, if you look at the treetops, when you did that, they lost that pop, the highlight pop. So sometimes you can just go in and bring down the exposure and the highlights, and then you do that with the radial filter. You add it to the sun so that that is exposed the way that you want it, and then everything around it, you can kind of go back to the way it was.
And you know, it would be nice if a swan were going through the water.
Ooh,
if
swan.
you didn't have that,
He has
jump
a
in
cute
the water
dog.
yourself and do a swan impression.
He has a very cute dog.
Okay,
that is
right. He should use
kind
the
of
dog.
swan-like. Chris, do you have any questions or comments from the peeps, from the stunners?
Just jump in the water. That's a good one. Yeah, we do. Yeah, how about, well, first of all, is anybody planning on attending the Imaging USA Expo in January 2020? You know anything about that?
I have never heard of that.
I don't know about that.
Me neither. Okay.
So I guess not.
What criteria do you consider when deciding to convert a fall photo from color to black and white?
Black and white for me is more about contrast and form and showing texture. So if there were really beautiful colors and that was what was making the photo special, I wouldn't convert it to black and white. But if there was really good contrast or beautiful lines, then I would convert to black and white, possibly.
Yeah.
What else, Chris?
And there was a question about bokeh. They just wanted to know where what the word came from. So
I don't actually know what the word comes from. Do you?
it's Japanese. I know that.
I know it's
Yeah, that's all I
Japanese,
got.
yeah. And I know it's not the background blur itself, but the quality of the background blur. It's a term that seems to confuse people, not only because of its pronunciation, but everything else as well.
Yeah, I've begun to just use it generally to mean background blur, which I know isn't technically accurate, but at the same time, I need a word that just means background blur.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. It's like when you order a hero, but you just say gyro, if that's what they're saying, because you don't want to be that person.
The last time I tried to, we have a Greek friend, so I really tried to nail the pronunciation,
Hero.
like hero.
You.
And then
Hero.
the person at the Greek restaurant says, "You want a gyro?" Like, yeah, give me a
Just say
gyro.
that.
Let's take a look at a Squarespace
Guacamole.
portfolio. This is perdomaimages.com. You can get your own custom domain with Squarespace too. They make it really easy. And Perdomo is doing architecture and real estate photography, which is actually a really good way to make a living at photography. It's one of those fields where you can still really make money.
I think about doing that all the time when I look at real estate listings.
Yes, there is a lot of bad real estate, and Perdomo's doesn't seem to be that. Okay, I can make some suggestion because right away I'm seeing pictures that are very similar, right? These two pictures are stacked and they're practically identical. So
wait, did he? Oh yeah, they're almost identical.
Mm-hmm.
I like the blurred person, so you have a person there, but they're not, being distracting.
mm-hmm.
Your work is very beautiful.
And can I also suggest that these two pictures be separated because we have, like, it's just that the fan here is almost identical. And I see them right next to each other. And at first my brain registers it as being the same. Otherwise, like, these shots
Really
seem
beautiful.
like perfect examples. And I would also like to point out that Perdomo's use of HDR is appropriate for the situation. We got to do a video about bad
We
real estate
have
photography.
to. I'm very passionate about real estate, and I always see this mistake where the realtor wants to show the room, but also what's outside the window, and they'll just take a brush and they'll just burn a big gray blob onto the window, and it hurts me so much. I've got to help them.
Let's check out their photojournalism.
Help them and help me. Sure. Wow, he's multi-talented.
Yeah, I think these shots are great. Nice and close. Great use of storytelling all around. None of these pictures are making me say, oh, this one should be removed.
How about that guy vaping?
I
Sure,
think it's a
related to the story.
cigar, like a really fancy cigar lighter, I think.
Yeah, exactly. We can zoom right in here and see,
Oh.
but she's got a cigar
Sorry,
lighter
I
that's
thought she
making
was a
me
vape
envious.
accomplice. Okay.
Okay.
Does everyone light cigars with a blowtorch?
Oh,
I do not. It does seem pretty extreme. People get pretty
There you
hardcore
go.
about it.
I like your picture. I like that you kept your introduction simple. You mentioned some of your accomplishments, which is nice.
Yeah, I think I would just delete the contact us page. Like, you have your contact information here. Forms suck.
I also
right?
have to say, you have this email at like Rigo at Perdomo Images, but then you also have Perdomo Images at AOL.com. Get rid of that because you don't want two email addresses, but you also don't want AOL.com.
That's very
No,
true.
I'm not trying
That's
to-
one nice thing about Squarespace is they'll give you the domain, so you don't have to be at AOL.com
I'm not
anymore.
trying to serve up any like harshness. I'm just saying it seems really unprofessional to have an AOL.com email.
Yeah, I finally made
coming from
Chelsea
the
get rid of her
person-
Yahoo Mail account.
I had, okay, Cheslamek has served me well. I was using AIM for far too long, so I'm not shaming you.
Let's see what Rigo had to
like
say about Squarespace. Wait, where is his quote?
You lost it.
Oh, there it is. Easy doesn't even begin to cut it.
I
Also,
know.
I'm terrible at search engine optimization. And from what I understand, things are working better now. I used to have crop.com, which was a little cheaper, but it looked almost the same, but with terrible SEO. So Rigo here is actually like a working photographer, and he cares about things like search engine optimization. And the designers at Squarespace have thought about that. So you don't have to. They make it easy to get your site seen by search engines so you can bring in new clients.
My old website also did not like fix everything to go on your phone. So I'd go to show people my pictures and it looked terrible. And Squarespace takes care of that. So just try it out for free. You get a 14-day free trial. You don't have to put in a credit card. You just try it. And you can throw together a portfolio in just a couple of minutes, half an hour. Go to squarespace.com/Chelsea and use the coupon code Chelsea. And when you make it, submit it to sdp.io/link so we can review it here and give you some tips. We can even review the free trial. We don't discriminate in that way.
Thank you, Squarespace. I am going to start to import pictures so we can
There's
see
so
some
many
more
good
pictures from
fall
Liz.
pictures.
Well, I know. I hate. I'm sorry we can't get through everything. We had
but they're so beautiful.
so many great pictures. Oh man, how we can't.
We can't pass up this pumpkin baby. Look how cute it is.
Beautiful shot, Eric. Man, you got such a great expression out of the baby. That should not be underestimated. That is hard.
Why does that baby like being in a pumpkin?
You get to
Are we
pick.
going to talk about that? Pumpkin baby.
Yeah, what's your secret? What do you put in the pumpkin? Maybe it's filled with Jell-O or something fun. Look at another falling leaf picture.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I like this one a lot.
Oh, what a great road. Yeah, if you see a spot like this, take a picture of it with your phone because that will GPS tag it. Mark it as a favorite. And then later when fall comes around or if you get fog like this, you can track your retrace your steps back to the GPS photo that you took on your phone. Petri here looks like he had a fog plan. He's like, oh, we got some fog.
Wow,
I'm
you
going
think he had
here.
a
So
fog plan?
You get a
Dang.
pick.
He gets a
awesome
pick.
shot. That would also be good with a car. Like get a nice sports car.
Yeah, but only a
rolling through
nice-
here, kicking up the leaves.
It'd have to be a nice car. Something that matches the mood.
Like a autumn car.
Like I feel mocked and I will not stand for this. None of my presets are named pumpkin spice.
Oh, that's a missed
So-
opportunity, Chels.
It is a deliberate choice.
Okay. We have a lot of pictures to go through. So I think we should jump through and look at the ones that really catch our eye.
Oh, look at that toad under the leaf. Even he has a fall vibe.
You put that leaf there, didn't you? You're like, you're going to wear this hat, Mr. Toad, because the theme is autumn, Toad.
Yeah, but he's like, thank you.
Yeah. He's pretty cool.
He's cool.
Great job, Bev. This is a very pretty scene. But I don't think we have any direct light on the trees. Maybe there is a little bit.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, somehow the colors seem very flat. So you might just want to come back under different lighting conditions. But, revisit spots. You don't have to get it the first time you go there.
Whoa, talk about mood. Beautiful and spooky all at once. The iPhone, a lot more iPhone photos. You know what's so interesting? I know so many people that take gorgeous photos with their iPhones, and it's just becoming more about composition, as we were saying earlier.
Mm-hmm.
What's catching your eye, Tony? We can't click that one because they submitted it 4 times.
Well, they just had him. That was an accident, I'm sure. Let's look at this portrait up
What
here.
if they're a rebel? Can we really take that chance?
I like the inclusion of the shoes. That's really cute. What about the processing though? Like I feel like they've stripped out most of the colors.
Well, I think that I like that they went for the muted tones, but I think that the pants are so bright that they really steal the show.
Yeah, you're right. The pants.
The pants are too much. I just feel like Lightroom doesn't like me today.
Well, it was importing, so it was being a little laggy.
We can just bring down. We can just chill these out a little. Maybe we can't. Maybe these pants have a life of their own.
Oh, okay. I actually like them orange.
Yeah, I thought it would match the fall vibe.
Chelsea's using the color sliders.
Fall
to make some color-specific
vibe.
adjustments.
Do. I'm feeling it today.
Okay.
Even though we have basically a tornado outside for no reason that I can understand.
Yeah, the weather is crazy the last day. Here's a picture from Lauren Ham.
I'm
It's
hungry.
It's great, right? I kind of she her expression isn't great, don't you think?
Well, I think that her pose is great, the styling. Lauren, I like the whole environment. I mean, she's probably not like a professional model. She just needs a little more expression in her eyes. But it looks good. What's happening though? Oh, f2.8 is like, it can be great for background blur, but it can also be really annoying because if you don't nail the eyes in focus, look, you can see that her hair is in focus here, but not her eyes, these flyaways. You might even look through your photos and see that you got some.
And I'll say I have had a lot of missed shots on the Tamron and Sigma lenses like that. Like they're actually hard for me to recommend now. I find the Nikon 70-200 f2.8 is much more accurate. I know it's more expensive too, but it's something to keep in mind. If you are shooting with a third-party lens, like take a lot more shots, like refocus regularly, or just shoot with a higher depth of field.
Ooh. What?
Well, I was just thinking about posing non-models can be a real challenge, and most of the time you get the best expressions by engaging them and making them feel comfortable. And sometimes a tip I got from Sam Shannon is instead of just having them hold their hand on their cheek, like kind of have them like move it, and then you can kind of catch it in action, or wherever it rests naturally will end up looking a lot better, just to make the photo a little more dynamic.
Yeah, I just added a little more contrast and made the colors a little bit richer. I used the Mellow Mood thing preset.
I talked a lot about this picture because I felt like I had room for
liked it.
improvement, but I
Sometimes
gave it a
the
pick
more
because
we
I think it's a good shot and just needed like some tweaks.
Yeah, sometimes the more we like a photo, we end up doing that. This is really interesting. I do love the toning and the colors. Let me see. Let's zoom in.
I like that there's a little motion in the dress.
Yeah, I like
She
the.
must have held it up and dropped it.
Do you think it'd be better if she were here or if she were being framed by the tree?
I don't know. On one hand, I like that there's the subject separation by having her against the dark trunk of the tree,
Yeah.
but I guess I would try it both ways.
Ooh, I love
Oh.
I love the yellow and orange on the blue sky. Really beautiful.
Yeah, that's really pretty.
And Dirk, I like that you found just this little beautiful slice of this place and you captured it. It's really nice. I'll give you a pick. Ooh,
Wow,
Wayne.
this is like the dark side of fall.
This is like when fall gets depressed. I like it. It's gritty. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
No, that's awesome. I really like that.
Backlit leaves, really beautiful, beautiful toning. I love the coolness and the shadows and the warmth of the sun. Really nice. What do you think of this little guy? You want to crop him more?
I think I want to crop him less.
Crop him less.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's kind of an
twist.
awkward crop. I mean, it doesn't happen often, but just think about the edges of the frame. We have the subject kind of awkwardly going off the edges of the frame.
Do you think this is in captivity or do you think this is wild?
Well, at 483 millimeters on a full frame camera, like you're very close to the bird. So it's possible that it's in the wild. They're shooting through something, which could be tree branches, and they're at eye level. It's probably in captivity, but it's possible that it's in the wild.
What if we just take him maybe if we take him like this?
Go 8x10, make yourself an Instagram format shot. Yeah. Yeah, that was a good crop, Chelsea.
Now I'm the crop
You both get a
master.
pick.
Ooh. So,
Yeah, I was just trying to figure out the source of the blurring. Like, I know it's not the lens because it is just like a radial blur, it's not blurring
Yeah.
according to the depth, but just blurring out from the center outward. And it does create kind of a cool effect. Like you almost get a sense of a miniature scale. I think what it needs is a little more subject separation because the focal point here, the person walking, is against a very complex and cluttered background.
yeah, maybe he should be like here.
Yeah.
And then you'd have all this blurred out, repetitive, simple stuff behind him. But I like the idea. I like the path and I like the vertical lines of the trees. Ooh. Nice. I like the contrast in this photo is really beautiful.
Yeah, it looks like they're lit by a single flash off to the left, and she's kind of looking into it.
She's violating the rule of space. But I like how wide the photo is. I think I wish she was just, if she were looking the other way, she wouldn't be lit. But
So I like the contrast here. The background really falls off and is dark. I want the light to be a little warmer. And so I'm kind of warming up the whole subject because the light is so low in the sky, the only natural explanation for that is a setting sun, but it doesn't feel like a setting sun. It feels like a flash. One way you could make it a little more natural looking would be to just gel the strobe. You stick like an orangey yellow gel on there and it would give you that sort of sunset look. And I'm trying to do it in post, but you can see I'm losing a lot of the cool color in the background because I'm just shifting everything and not making a good selection there. Just something to think about. I think the best artificial light is that which simulates natural light. Take a look at some more fall pictures. Here's Chelsea's favorite, some fungi. This is like a beautiful little miniature world, right?
Yeah, this is gorgeous. I'm giving you a pick, Annie.
We know we're extremely close because this is F10. And look how shallow that depth of field is. Like all the mushrooms cannot be in focus. That's how shallow it is. Awesome shot.
Really beautiful. I think that's my favorite one. Ooh, this one's beautiful too.
Suddenly mushrooms.
Dang. It's a mushroom kind of day. Beautiful.
Let's look at 69 there. Very nice. And I know how kids could be. You can't always get the exact expression you want, but that's something to work on.
I like her little expression. It's cute. Look at
Yeah,
her
you're right. It's
smile.
almost Mona Lisa-esque, right?
It's so tough because I kind of want to zoom in to see her little face more, but I like her hands too because she's
Yeah.
playing with this. I think it's really cute.
Okay.
Beautiful,
Yeah,
sharp.
you get a pick. I would Photoshop out
Wow.
the label on the scarf. Sorry, I didn't mean to bump the mouse.
Wow.
This is adorable. This is fantastic. This would have made people in the 20s but just straight up believe in fairies. You get a pick.
What a weird thing to grade a picture on. Can you trick people in the 20s? You win.
No, it's believable. It's nicely done.
Oh my gosh, what happened to you, little guy?
I don't know.
Chechu in the woods.
What's Chechu looking at? So it would have been nice to take his collar off.
What?
It's a little bit of a
That's
distraction.
wild. No. Chechu would run away forever. You don't know
No, Chechu's
Chechu.
a good boy. I know Chechu. He's a good boy. Okay, so it looks like we have a strobe behind the happy couple here, and then they're spraying them with water. And so that's kind of freezing the action
Yeah.
and giving us this like scattered effect. It's also backlighting them, so both of their hair has this really nice rim lighting. It's cool. It's not a natural effect, but it's cool and it has a lot of pop to it.
It almost looks like it's the sun hitting the umbrella. If you look at the shadow on the ground there,
Oh.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
like a sun shower or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
Cool
think it's
effect.
really pretty. I like it in black and white. Or gritty gourd. I apologize.
I think what gives it away that it's an artificial light is this hard line of light here, which
Yeah,
is
that's
probably
what I
just
was
the edge
looking
of
at.
the reflector. So if you could have moved that line out of the frame by maybe tilting the light up a little bit more or using some sort of card like a gobo underneath the light to prevent that hard line from appearing, it might have felt a little more natural. Something to think about. Okay. Fall in Preslov. Got a little bit of fog there.
Yeah, I would
Got some cool God rays coming in.
expose for your subject, which I know can sometimes overexpose the background, but then you can always go, bring down the highlights, or you can put in one of these radial filters and then bring down everything but your subject. And if you do a brush and press O on your keyboard and press Alt, then you can select a little more of your subject so that they're exposed properly, and so is your background.
Nice
And then
shot.
that just balances
Erica.
the light a little bit more.
Yeah, I like your edits. That helped. just jumping back to the grid view here. Okay, I got to see a car if somebody throws one in. I love this shot. The reflections are great. You have the nice fall colors here. There's so much haze in the air that it's helping to separate the subject by reducing the contrast of the background. And you get a pick. Like, this shot is perfect. I almost suggested turning the wheels, but I'm not sure. It's something to consider. I also love the line of the bridge. Like, just awesome shot.
Really nice. Chris, do you have any questions or comments from the peeps? Oh, that's nice.
This natural backlighting is awesome. Look at the way their hair lit up.
I'm giving that one a pick.
Chris, we can't hear you.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Yes. Bev Miller says she did not put the leaf on the frog.
Okay, I was just teasing you.
And Jonathan said, hey, can we sometime have a live show on uncool and nerdy pictures?
Okay, that sounds right up my alley.
I don't even know.
I don't know what that would mean, but just nerdy. Okay. Is he just setting me up? Is it just going to be pictures of me?
That was a good self burn. This is beautiful.
Yeah.
Really dramatic.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. I like the way it's like almost perfectly, such like a hard line dividing it there.
Yeah.
Divided by both that line and color and contrast. Awesome shot, Eric. Oh my goodness. I do want to raise the exposure. If you look at the histogram here, you can see everything is weighted over to the far left side. So we just kind of want to balance that a little bit more, get something in the right half, but especially with an animal with dark eyes like that, sometimes you have to just raise the exposure up. And, I'll often even just take an adjustment brush and just pop it in their eye and brighten it up a little bit.
Wow.
Because we have a dog with like the same coloring. And if you don't have hard light in their eye, it will just disappear, and raise those shadows a little bit. It's a good dynamic range test.
Okay, sorry to be contrarian, but this would have been perfect for the radial brush because now everything looks very washed out. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, it's still low contrast. I would have probably done some more tweaking to it, but radial full filter, good selective filter. That's a good idea.
Then you can do the contrast and warm it up. Do. And then you bring out the dog a little bit while like keeping the richness and the colors, which can be tough when you start raising highlights and raising the exposure. That was a good show. I feel like we got some good pictures.
Yeah, we definitely did. And I want to take one more second to plug your presets. You can pick up Chelsea's presets that we just showed off here with no risk money back guarantee at sdp.io/preset3. And I think today only use the coupon code fall20 for 20% off. You can just download them or you can get a physical pack.
Yeah, we have a physical copy. So if you want to get them on an SD card or give them as a gift, you can also do that. So yeah, thank you. Your fall pictures were beautiful. And if you'd like to show off your pictures in a way that's not just chronological, but put your best photos first, check out a Squarespace. You can get a free trial for 14 days. Go to squarespace.com/Chelsea and use the coupon code Chelsea. And hopefully we'll be able to do a Halloween show. So get your spooky photos ready. And Tony and I will be brainstorming a Halloween costume.
Thank you, Squarespace. See you guys soon.
Bye. Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Justin.
Bye.
Thanks,
See you guys.
Okay.
That is all.